Praise the Lord. This is an open letter to many of the senior pastors, bishops, and general overseers of fast-growing churches in Nigeria. I want to bless the Lord for the life of our brother, Oluyamoju, who have discussed on some issues pertaining to the churches in Nigeria. My name is Femi Oluyamoju. I want to lend my voice to the issue of the churches in Nigeria. I want to talk about the desire for fast and quick growth and multiplication of parishes in Nigeria and its effect on the church, on Christianity, and even on the life of the said pastors and their members. In the bid to grow very fast, in the bid to enlarge quickly, in the bid to increase and have more parishes all around the world, we have endangered the lives of the men who we have sent forth to become pastors. In the bid to have more parishes, we have forced men who were not prepared for such duties to suddenly become pastors. Brothers and sisters that should still be in the Sunday school learning about Christ, who should still be in the beginner's class because their lives has not yet mirrored the life of Christ, suddenly are promoted to certain positions so they can become pastors. And these unprepared men, untrained men, undiscipled men suddenly become the lead and the head of parishes because we needed people to suddenly become pastors in order to satisfy our quick growth, our, should I call it a growth of yeast, a sudden growth. So we put men to go and head parishes, to take decisions for other people's lives when they themselves are not yet trained. Some of us also, in order to grow the parishes as fast as possible, we now begin to employ ministers. We convert the call of God to business merchandise by converting ministers who have the heart to serve God to paid employees, and thus opening the door for as many people as possible who can just get a certificate in theology to suddenly become pastors. So we convert the call of God and the work of God to a show of CV. Unfortunately, we now have men who are not called for Christ, men who never gave their life to Jesus Christ, who couldn't get admission to go and study the things they love to study and decided to go and study theology, becoming pastors in our various establishments because we wanted quick growth. The issue with this fast rush growth that we are chasing after is that we are having undiscipled leaders in many parishes. And in all these parishes where we are having men that have not been discipled, men that nobody had the time to disciple them, as long as they can wear the kind of clothes that we needed in our parishes and they have a little money and unemployment, we convert them to pastors and we hand them over to go and take over lives of other people. Unfortunately, what happens is that these men now convert their own weaknesses to messages. The things they couldn't conquer because nobody discipled them. Nobody took time to watch over them. There was no watchman over them. We only brought them to general service. And because they came to church and they've learned the language of Christianity, they've learned how to behave, they've learned how to talk, they've learned the few things we want them to know in the religious circle, we suddenly convert them to pastors. And the weaknesses they couldn't overcome, the things we didn't teach them, they now convert it to messages and start teaching other people their weaknesses. Unfortunately, this has affected many of them's marriages. Oh, you can't count how many women are crying in tears, facing all kinds of funny things from men who are called pastors, but who is not discipled, who has not been cultured in the lifestyle of Christ. Women that cannot speak out, women that are going through pain, women that wish with all their hearts that their husband never came to your church. Because suddenly now he's now a pastor. Nobody can correct him again. He believes he knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, he has no clue what he's doing. He's only trying to live up to the office. Wife beaters, husband abusers, and all kind of abusive life going on. No wonder it is getting difficult to get children of pastors to come out right, because they see all sort of nonsense going on in their families, and they cannot fathom that this is the lifestyle of Christ. And what is this causing? It's causing many pressure on the family front. Simply because we wanted to grow fast, we are putting pressure in the life of other people. And it has gotten to a stage that even when you tell many of these churches that you are not ready to become a pastor, they now begin to pressure you. They make it sound as if your refusal to take over a parish, your refusal to grow into certain positions means that you are not holy, means that you are not righteous. And everybody starts teaching wrong messages to make it look as if unless you are taking a position, you are not going to go to heaven. Unfortunately, that cannot be found in the Bible. So a lot of men are pressured. It now becomes a religious pressure group that peer pressure that now force people to go and take up appointments that God has not called them into, that they have not been discipled into, that they have not been trained for, and they have not grown into spiritually. And what does this cause? I could say very clearly here that if I'm to look at the way we are rushing men into their doom in the name of becoming pastors, then what we are doing is that we do not love these people. I can say categorically that we do not love our pastors. Why will I say that? There is no leader who will put untrained men to lead his army as a general. It doesn't happen. It is men that have been tried, tested, and seen to have passed on all fronts that are selected to become generals. For every parish that you open, the man that you send there is supposed to become a general against the kingdom of darkness, a kingdom he is yet to overcome himself. So what are you putting him into? You are sending him to the war front to go and die. To go and die a spiritual death, because he himself has not overcome sin. He himself has not become the image of Christ. He's still struggling with a life that is of sin, and yet you have sent him to the forefront to go and become a general. You have just sent him to his death. We all know that the kingdom of darkness is not joking. So when we send the men who we have not prepared, men who we have not discipled, men who have not overcome this world, and we send them to the battlefront just to go there, it looks as if we have not done what Christ asked us to do. Jesus said, "Who among you will want to have a war that will not first count the cost?" We have not sat down to count the cost on the life and the family of these men we are sending out. What we have counted is the profit. We have only seen the number of parishes. We have only seen the number of members. We have only seen the increase in income. That's the profit we have counted. We have not counted the cost. If we have counted the cost, we won't be rushing out people into war without training them effectively. Because if you go around the churches, the discipleship as Jesus asked us to do it, we are not doing it. Even some of us have even converted discipleship to a school and certificate as against the life, the touching of a life, the all-round movement of a life that Jesus taught us and Jesus left when he came to earth. So you do not love these pastors because you are not preparing them for the spiritual battles they will face, the spiritual battles their children will face. Imagine a pastor who is not yet holy, who is not yet righteous, who has not gotten it right with God, who has not gotten to that level where he can stand for his own family, now going to lay hands on other people and chase out demons. Of course, the demons will land in his house. Of course, the demons will enter his house and come and cause havoc, and he won't be able to do anything because he's not prepared for it. Unfortunately, These are the men that we have sent to the forefront to go and increase and multiply our parishes. I also want to state here that these pastors that we have sent out, many of them don't even have the opportunity to meet with you. You are too high and too far for them to ever meet with you, even for a discipleship. Since you claim to become the highest anointed person in that ministry, even for them to see you when they have issues, it becomes a problem. Many of them will have to fill forms. They have to wait for months. They have to spend so much money in traveling before they can even see the person, the human being who have sent them to the battlefront to go and face the devil. Unfortunately, I will also state that you do not love your members. You do not have the love of your members at heart. How will you send your members? How you expect people to go to a man, a woman who has not been discipled to go and learn from? How do you expect them to go into the hands of untrained men as their pastors? Men who have not been trained in the way of God. Men who have not been trained in discipleship. Men who have not overcome this world and sin. You are now sending your members to go to them. Sending your members to untrained, undiscipled pastors is like sending your patients to untrained and quack doctors. I want you to look at a situation, a scenario where an hospital decides that it wants to grow very fast. So they started getting locations to build their hospitals and making assistant nurses and quack doctors to become the resident doctor so that they can just have enough branches. Such an hospital do not love its patients. And the church is more important than an hospital. This has to do with eternal life or eternal damnation. So we have sent our members to go and listen to a man and a woman who they themselves have not even known the truth. They have sent our members to go and be worshiping under men who themselves still need to be going to Sunday school. We have sent our members to go and get counseling from those people who themselves still need counseling, but who only became pastors because we are in a hurry to increase the number of parishes. So we don't love our members. We definitely don't care whether they make it to heaven or they make it to hell. As long as they make the number and we can now boast of how increased we are. We cannot boast of the number of parishes we have. That is what we are interested in. We cannot boast that we now have parishes in all nations of the earth. That is what we are chasing after. That's the target we are following. We have not loved our members to want to give them a quality message, a quality counseling, a quality service that will end up in heaven. And unfortunately, I will also want to say that you do not love Jesus. Because when Jesus was on earth, he called Peter over and over again and said, feed my lamb, feed my sheep. God is interested in you ensuring that his sheep is well taken care of. Oh, it would have been better if you never opened the church, so these people can go to the correct places. But you've now opened the church. You've designed a special way of getting them to come in. You did crusade so that they can come to your church. You did all kind of advertisement of your miracle so that they could come to your church. You opened branches and spend money on designs and everything so that they could come. And unfortunately, after the children of God, those that Jesus came to die for, after they came to your church, you still did not show them the way to heaven. So what's the purpose of you opening the parishes? If the pastors are suffering, if their families are not doing well, if the members are not getting the messages, if God is not getting what he wanted, if he's not getting souls to go to heaven, then why have you created the parishes? So who do you love in all this? The person you love is yourself and your cronies. You have decided amongst yourself to create an empire. You had a dream to be great. You couldn't probably make it in the place of the secular. So you came to the spiritual and bamboozled the Africans who love everything religion to get your greatness. Or God called you. He actually called you and you started the call. But instead of following after the call and discipling people and allowing Christ to grow his church, you were too much in a hurry. Suddenly, you have created an enlarged empire for yourself. But the pastors are going through pain. The members are going through pain. Even God himself is not happy because he's not getting the people he wants. Then, of course, you have not loved God. And I also want you to know that you give them targets. You've given many of your pastors financial targets. If they do not meet that financial target, they will not be promoted. Men that were not already discipled, now you are giving them financial targets. Please, are you a bank? Are you a business center? What concerns a church with financial targets? Why are you giving your members, your pastors, financial targets to meet? Are they bank managers? Are they business center managers? Have you forgotten that this was the same reason why Jesus went to the temple with the whip? Because they've converted the temple to a business place. What is a business place? A business place is a place where money exchange hands for services and goods. So we have now converted the church to a place where we exchange anointing, grace, promotion, and everything for goods. So a pastor that brings in more money gets quicker promotion. What is that? That is a business center. Have you forgotten that if Jesus was to come with a whip now, you will not escape it? Another target we have given our members is attendance target. We've given our pastors attendance target to ensure that the church is filled up urgently. If truly you were planning to teach the people the truth, if truly you want the pure truth and the honest truth to be taught, then you will not tell your pastors to hurriedly increase their members, because you will know that the truth is not loved by all, and only a few will come for the truth. And after a while, it will start growing. It will not rush, but you don't have the patience to wait for organic growth. So you keep forcing these men who are not discipled in the first place to get growth. No wonder they had to bring comedians into church. No wonder all kinds of funny things are done in that church. No wonder pastors are fighting pastors for congregation. For the same people that are going to heaven, there is a fight going among pastors. Oh, I want one here, I want one here. Even sometimes the same church, the same denomination has over 5 parishes in one street. I've been to a denomination where there is a parish at the right side of the street, by almost adjacent opposite. You have the same denomination having another parish there. What have we converted it to? A competition for people. Have you forgotten that Jesus said, if he be lifted up, he will draw men unto him? Have you forgotten that in the early church, the Bible says, and God added to the church as many ought to be saved? Are you not supposed to be content with whatever God gives you? So we force our pastors not to preach the truth. They cannot preach hot messages. They cannot reject stolen money. If thieves and robbers and kidnappers were to bring money to your pastors, they hurriedly collect it and send it to you because they want to be promoted. They want to be recognized. They want to be given praises for meeting their financial targets. And when all kinds of persons come to church, despite the fact that a minister is sleeping with the members, your pastor cannot stand the ground and say, no, if you don't do this, I'll suspend you. He's afraid to even suspend anybody that does anything wrong. He's afraid to take decisive decisions because he doesn't want his membership to drop. When his membership drops, you call him to the office and lambast him for not doing a good job. And yet you say you are creating parishes for God? No, you have just created an empire for yourself. But this is the warning to you. Do you think that if you have created a structure that doesn't allow the pastors to go to heaven, that doesn't allow the members to go to heaven, that doesn't make God happy, if you think that you've created that kind of structure, and because you've created the structure, you go to heaven, let me break it down for you. You couldn't have created a structure that sent people to hell, and you will think you will go to heaven. Of course, I know most of you, some of you already know that you are not going anywhere. That's why you are amassing the earth. That's why you are creating a name for yourself. That's why you are not looking at the effect on other people. The only thing you are interested in is how it looks good in the papers, how it looks good in your name, and how big you become. Finally here, I also want to throw a warning. I have noted of recent that there is an increase in youth parishes. And why that seems to be a good idea, what I discovered as an anomaly is that in these youth parishes, we have allowed them to do anything as they like. We have told our pastors, please give the youth whatever they like. So in the youth parishes, we have a youth who doesn't know anything about the world yet. A youth who doesn't have experience of life leading other youths. So a youth that doesn't know much about life is the pastor of other youths. So what have we done? We have only created a center so that our youth can be comfortable, so they will not leave your organization. You are so finicky about your numbers. You are so finicky about your size. You are afraid that this youth might go somewhere else. So you decide to give them exactly what they want. Whether they go to heaven or they go to hell, you don't care. There is no elder around in faith to guide these youths at touching the things they should do and things they should not do. So they have all kinds of youthful parishes. They do all kinds of things that pleases them. If we think that the youth are so perfect, why don't you leave the seat of the general overseer and hand it over to a youth? If you think they know all they should know already, why don't you clear the whole leadership of your church and just hand it over to youth, and you go and sit home and allow them and do it? You wouldn't do that because it is, your empire is important to you. Then how come you do that to God's people? How come you do that to God's church? You hand over lives of people, future of tomorrow, destinies. You hand it over to a young man, a young woman who doesn't know anything about life, and they keep teaching themselves rubbish. You allow them to do anything they feel like doing as long as they give you the numbers, as long as they give you the finances, as long as they give you the size and increment in parishes. Sir, ma, you are wicked. You are very wicked. And that is a sign of heartlessness. You do not care if these guys make it to heaven or they make it to hell. All you are interested in is in your growth. I can tell you surely that you couldn't have done this and think there's a mansion waiting for you in heaven. No, it's not possible. No, it's not possible. You could have deceived the earth with your anointing. You could have deceived the earth by scaring everybody with the anointing, scaring them not to talk to you, scaring them not to correct you. But you know you do not scare God because it's bigger than the whole, all of you. And you know Jesus said, on the last day, many will come. And they will say they did fantastic projects in his name. Oh, we did this, we did that. Jesus will tell them, sorry, I do not know you. If you guys continue the way you are running the Nigerian church, where you do not care for discipleship, all you care for is growth and increase, I can bet it with you, the voice waiting for you on the last day is the one of I do not know you. Can I beg you to please begin to work on discipleship? Can I beg you to suspend this competition of growth? Can I beg you that the ones that you can't even find pastors to lead, where they are having issues, can you close it down? Can you mash these parishes together and begin to look for quality hands to work on this? Can you stop jostling up and down the world, running from pillar to post? Can you sit down with discipleship, starting from your senior pastors, and let it flow down to the members? Let it flow from the senior pastors to the mid pastors to the low-level pastors and to the members. Can you begin to work on the souls of your members rather than rushing scatter, saying you are doing services and funny things that you are doing everywhere in the world? Can you start jostling up and down? It will even save the church the money. The millions you are spending running scatter, you could spend it in one place. You could stay somewhere and begin to disciple people. The instructions of Jesus is not there. You have not touched your church. Can you sit down with the instructions of Jesus and begin to show them how to make it to heaven? Please, I want you to know, carrying a membership card of your denomination does not give anybody access to heaven. Being a pastor and getting positions in your organization does not take anybody to heaven. It is holiness, righteousness, and a life that is exactly like the life of Jesus. A life that has been submitted totally to the rulership and ownership of Jesus. That is the kind of life that will make it to heaven. And Jesus came to show us that the way to do that is via discipleship. Can you go back to discipleship? Can you stop these discipleship schools and seminaries that you are doing? Can you stop using discipleship certificates and documents and diplomas to confuse your members, that they will think they are disciples of Jesus, whereas they are far, very far from Jesus? Can you please go back to discipleship? Can you please cut down on this, your hunger for doubling and increase and well, I want to open 10,000 parishes in a year. I want to have 1,000,000 parishes. Can you stop all this and go down to business? What God actually called you for, to disciple the people. Once again, my name is Femi Oluyamoju. I hope that you will take this. A few of you will take this and begin to work tediously for the souls of those that God has put under you. Because you will give account on the day of judgment of every member who came to your church. Unfortunately, the bigger it is, the more difficult it is for you to get to heaven, because you have to give account of every member everywhere, including the ones that you made funny pastors their pastors. The ones that you took a man who is so bad in adultery to become parish pastor, so he started sleeping with every member. You will give account of every adultery that happened under your ministry. You will give account of all the funny things that are happening, the disgrace that your ministry is giving to the name of God. I know you have so much money. People are even afraid to write about you. The press is afraid to write about you. You have enough power. You have enough reach. You can shut down any news. I know you are doing it. That's why you have media department, this department, that department, and you have converted yourself to an organization. You are even bigger than an SME that is for making money. You are making bigger monies than even companies are making. I know, but I want you to know that on the last day, you will give account of every member in your congregation. I hope that you will turn around and start working on quality rather than chasing quantity. God bless you.